Many of you know I have a lot of different sable palms. It's one of my favorites. I really like fan palms a lot, which is good because there's very few pinnate palm species that I can grow. But I really like sable palms. I don't know why, I just do. This one is my first Sabal Louisiana that I planted, and I wanted to talk about these real quick. So these have performed really well in cold areas, zone 7. I think that, the big Texas freeze, these things were pretty much weren't touched. They didn't even flinch at the cold that those guys got. So very similar to a Sabal minor, except that these get a lot bigger and supposedly grow fast. Now, for me, I find that they're not fast growing. Now, why? It could be where I planted this one. It originally was in a spot that got a lot of afternoon sun the first year it was in here. But what happened was this Trachycarpus blew the F up. It's grown so fast. It's my second fastest growing one. When I put it in, it only had maybe 18 to 24 inches of trunk, and it's just gone wild. Now, in time, not that long from now, this won't have fronds down here, so the sun's going to kind of come back and hit this Sabal Louisiana. But I didn't protect it during our cold. It was totally fine. But for me, it actually grows pretty darn slow. And like I was saying, I don't know if it's just because it's in the shade. Sabals tend to grow at a slower rate in the Pacific Northwest than other areas. I mean, I really like the look of this one. I liked it so much, I bought another one. The other one isn't quite as nice. It was pot bound and hasn't had, I think I just put this one out last spring. So it doesn't look nearly as good. It's kind of messy over here from the, kind of get in here. And you can see this one doesn't look as good because it has been in a pot for way too long. The birds have been digging at the base. That's why you can kind of see those exposed roots. But this is my second one. And I think it put this frond out here, which is a pretty big one. It's got this new one that's been kind of opening up all winter. And this one is in the same kind of west facing. We'll get a lot of sun in the summer. It's quite a very hot spot here. So we're going to see how this one does. But for me, I'm finding they're not the quickest growing. But like I said, this one will kind of tell the tale. I'm actually thinking of buying a third one and putting it in my front yard, which is south facing. The only issue with putting it up there is I'm really going to have to water it. Whereas my big Sabal Brazoria, it puts these little ones to shame. This thing puts out huge fronds, 3.5 or 4 per year now. And I would say that this is the fastest growing Sabal for my climate, or at least what I'm finding. So the Sabal Brazoria is believed to be a hybrid, a naturally occurring hybrid, whereas the Sabal Louisiana, I guess it depends on who you talk to, but some people consider it a variant of Sabal minor, except that it does grow bigger and will develop a trunk over time. If you can find one, I definitely recommend these. I've seen pictures of bigger ones and they're quite impressive. So I'm hoping in time, or maybe at the end of this year, this thing's actually going to look pretty decent. But it is, since I put it in the ground, it's definitely putting out bigger fronds. So there you go, 2 Sabal Louisianas in an Oregon garden.